and the numbers keep rising. Hey guys, this is Jules. Welcome to my second channel. Now, we did this video where we talked about a lot of recent celebrity, influencer, and just people that are in the public eye, people that people around the planet know of, people dying in weird ways, things that seem like it's been a massive accumulation that's really abnormal. A lot of people on Twitter are talking about it, or X if you prefer, different platforms. Pretty much everyone is talking about how odd it seems that all of these things keep happening back to back to back to back to back. Now, this is the list that was in episode 1, and I accumulated another list of about 10 or 11 names the day after that one posted, but it's gotten progressively longer. As you can probably tell by my sweater, it is Christmas Day. I will be posting this the day after Christmas, so I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whichever one you were doing on the 25th of December. I hope you just had a good day in general. But we're going to go ahead and get started with the ones that I have bookmarked. This is going all the way back to December 17th because there were a few that didn't make it into the first episode, and now we need to go back. It's just wild. Just wild, honestly. I don't really know what else to say about it. We'll start here with a voice actor by the name of Jefferson Utanes. See all of the names that he was the voice of? We have James from Jesse and James from Pokemon, a Mickey Mouse from that looks like the toddler show, the Mouseketeer show, Mr. Krabs, we have Shrek, a whole bunch of different characters, but the Filipino version of those characters. So there's an entire generation of people from that, region of Earth that are greatly affected by his death, the same way that we are affected by, when our American actors and people that played an intricate part of our childhoods and our lives growing up, things that we constantly went to for enjoyment, entertainment, relaxation, something to get our mind away from reality. When those people pass away, we know how we're affected. So there's an entire generation of people over there that are just as affected as we've been. And it's really sad because, again, look at all these faces. This was on the 17th that this was posted on Twitter that I ended up bookmarking it. I went to go try to find information about his cause of death. And it looks like he actually had a lot of medical issues that it seems just caught up to him, I guess. It says, in the months leading up to his death, he openly shared that he had been diagnosed with stage 5 chronic kidney disease and had been undergoing dialysis for more than a year. And it looks like it just took him over. He obviously was really talented to be able to play all of those characters. There's a huge list of them right here too. This one is really wild. I don't know who this person is. This situation is the first time I've seen their face. I've heard their name. It looks like their name was Riziki. This person, as far as I'm understanding from the stories, was on a live stream. There was some bullying going on in said live stream panel that was going on. So there was multiple people up on the screen talking to each other at the same time. And whatever was said ended up causing this person to take their own life while they were live streaming on this panel. So now their death is being investigated. I typed in TikToker Riziki's death, and the first thing from 4 days ago, why are so many influencers dying? Why is this becoming a trend? Exactly. Isn't it a bit odd? So much of this is happening. Now let's go ahead and open up the one from The Root that talks about the situation. Yeah, she literally did this on a TikTok live. That's so incredibly insane. She was from Montgomery, Alabama, and she died by self-deletion on December 13th, according to an article from the Independent. This article from TMZ from the 17th talks about how there was a lot of cyberbullying going on. She's apparently had a lot of mental health struggles over the years. I don't know the conversation. I don't click on the videos that show the things that happened because there's just some things that I just don't want to see. But this is the temperature of this situation, that she was bullied relentlessly, and it just got to the point on this specific panel that she couldn't take it anymore. Now, see, this one says December 12th, while the other article said December 13th. Now, this article from Baller Alert is actually pretty interesting because it's talking about all of the sides of talk. They have debate talk, true crime talk, messy talk, all these different talks. It's basically like different subgenres of TikTok where you basically end up falling into everyone that has the same likes and dislikes as you do in these like categories, and somehow or another these little ecosystems end up being labeled something. It's how it's been going for the last few years now. It says that this TikTok creator entered into the realm of messy talk initially to speak about law school and to challenge what she saw as toxic behavior, but instead she became absorbed in all of the messy talk drama, because that's all that it is. It's like Jerry Springer online, where people just get riled up and emotionally triggered by all these different things. It's lots of arguing, lots of debating, lots of fighting, lots of doxing, lots of just insanity. Honestly, it's really gross. It's really gross, the behavior over there. Going through this article, it makes it seem as if she got really involved in supporting someone that maybe she shouldn't have been supporting, and she was being warned that something was just wrong, and maybe she just wasn't listening. But then there was a live stream that took place, and a lot of people were, I guess, mocking things that had happened because of her involvement in certain things. And that's apparently when she ended up taking her life, all of the mockery. And apparently a lot of the comments continued on even after the event that took place, because people just like don't care. Sometimes I really just wish that the internet just didn't exist. It's a good thing for certain things, but then you see stuff like this and you see people that are very vulnerable and susceptible to lies and manipulation constantly being used and lied to and manipulated and then thrown away like trash. I mean, it went on before the internet, but the internet made it easier. Now, I've watched several different episodes of NCIS Los Angeles. I definitely recognize her face. This is Rachael Carpani. She died at 45, and when I went to go and find cause of death, it looks like she was having a struggle with some sort of medical issue. There's been a lot of chronic illnesses suddenly taking people's lives this month, it seems. She passed away unexpectedly but peacefully in the early morning hours of December 7th after a prolonged battle with a chronic illness. This was apparently posted by her sister on Instagram. This article is really odd, honestly, because it says that the exact medical issues are being kept private, but that she did talk about having endometriosis and adenomyosis, debilitating conditions that brought severe pain since her teenage years. I'm very aware of what endometriosis is, but I will say I've never heard of this before in my life. When tissue similar to the lining of your uterus starts to grow into the muscle wall of your uterus. So she suffered from two different uterine type issues. I'm sure she was in a lot of pain a lot. Holy shit. It might have been something to do with that, or it might have been something that she ended up having to deal with after the fact of some sort of effect. But if the family wants to keep it private, I guess they can. It's just strange again. It's just very strange that these things are just like all of a sudden taking the lives of all these people. It is very, very odd. Now, this one is crazy. This one's really sad. There's actually one of you guys here on this channel that knew Greg Biffle personally that did leave a comment about this one. This one is really, really sad. This is an ex-NASCAR racer, Greg Biffle. Him and his entire family were on an airplane and it crashed and no one made it. The really sad part about this is that the family received messages from two people inside of the plane, or shall I say families, received messages from two different people inside of the plane just minutes before the crash actually took place. Christina's mother, Kathy, got a text from Christina that said, "We're in trouble." And apparently that took place about 10 minutes before the plane actually crashed. Now here's a small video. That's wild. See how close it was to the ground? Something happened as it was actually making an emergency landing. That's the second text message. Someone else that was on board sent a text message that said emergency landing to a family member. Again, just mere moments before it actually went down. The plane had only been flying for about 10 minutes before it turned around and something again went wrong with the landing, and it ended up being what we just saw. That is so insane. Now, as of the date of this article, they say at this point, they don't know exactly who was flying, but that Greg and two other people on board were actually licensed pilots. I don't see how they wouldn't have that information at this point in time, because I'm sure someone had to specify who was flying on some sort of checkout sheet. I'm sure those things are logged, but you know what? When it's a private family type situation, it could just be a coin flip for who's going to end up flying, and they might just put a name down and really decide later on. Honestly, who knows? Now, this is tech influencer Lamarr Wilson. He took his own life at age 48. This is another one that we're going to get to later, but right now we're looking at this one. Let's look at what Pure Xbox has to say about any reasons maybe why he felt the need to do that. No, it really doesn't have anything about the reasoning. I'm sure he had his own reasons. They normally do. Let's take a look at his actual page. 2.12 million subscribers. When was his last video posted? There's nothing for the last 4 years. Is it short? This one has 318,000 views. When was it posted? So the top comment is from a month ago, and it was pinned by him. The Express Tribune right here says that he was known as the unboxing guy. And yeah, they definitely have labeled it as a self-deletion. It was publicly announced Friday, December 13th. We had a Friday the 13th this year. No, we didn't. December 13th was a Saturday. The 12th was the Friday. Oh my gosh. Okay. They're really not giving any more information if something happened and it triggered it, or if this was something he'd been struggling with for a while. I mean, I guess it's really not everybody's business, honestly, but it's really sad. Now, this is another one I know that some people were talking about. This is a man that is from Britain named William Rush. He played on Waterloo Road. He passed away at 31. Now, again, I'm filming this on Christmas Day. It's December 25th, 2025. It's 3:15 p.m. Texas time. I type in cause of death, and it's telling me instantly that as of today, there still is no cause of death. But I'm going to look at a couple articles and see what I can find, because that's wild. The family posted this on Instagram. It says, our beautiful baby boy, William, passed away on 17th December. As a family, our hearts are completely broken, and there are no words that can truly capture the depth of our loss. Even in our darkest moment, William gave us the most precious gift of all. Through being an organ donor, he has given hope and life to other families, thinking of others right to the very end. His kindness and love will forever be part of his legacy. We kindly ask that our privacy be respected as we navigate this unimaginable grief. William will always be loved, always missed, and forever in our hearts. #be kind. But they're not saying how he passed away? No, there's absolutely nothing. I can't tell if he's maybe sick here, or if he just has a haircut and he's a little bit older than that picture that they've been using. William Rush's last post on Instagram goes viral after he passes away at 31. It could only... Okay, so is this him more recently? This was his last post. He looks like Sam Smith right there. On December 18th, 2025, Debbie Rush took to Instagram. That's the post that we just read. It only took a second to break us, but it will only take a minute to make up. Just hold on. This might take us quite some time. It's going to take more than an hour to work out, and it'll be more than a day to calm down. That's all right. This was his last post. Earlier this year, in August 2025, William shared a 2-minute, 58-second love song on his Instagram handle. The first few lines of the soulful track can be read as... Just hold on. He's playing it and singing it on piano? I am so confused. I mean, honestly, it makes you wonder if he self-deleted. There's literally no other information, and it's been like 2 weeks. That's really curious. Now, my buddy sent me this one through text. I have never actually watched The Wire, but I see that a lot of people are fans of this guy, and it's really hitting a lot of people hard. This is James Ransone. He, again, self-deleted at 46. So many people are taking their own lives this month. It's very, very insane. This was a nice story to see. A hero's tale. A woman says that he once saved her from SA. And she was very grateful that they crossed paths. This woman, who goes with a last name Watts, explained that a situation happened when they were neighbors living in Chinatown in New York City, that they had friendly, overlapping social circle connections. It says, I was attacked at the threshold of our building. I screamed for help. No one came. My attacker put his hands around so I would stop making the noises. I couldn't breathe. I remember the certainty that I was going to die or be AR'd as I was unconscious. She must have called him PJ. PJ heard my screams and ran to help. He came running shirtless, carrying a bat or a pipe. I'm not sure which because I never saw him in action. He scared my attacker who ran. PJ chased him to the building he fled to. Because of the chase, the police were able to identify him, a repeat offender who should have never been out to begin with. PJ saved me. That's so sad. It looks like he had his own mental health issues, obviously, with the way that this ended up happening. You know, the two go together. It says here that in 2021, so just 4 years ago, he came out publicly talking about the essay that he went through as a child by one of his teachers. He had to come out and tell his story on social media because the Baltimore County Police that did an investigation declined to pursue any charges against the teacher. That's pretty freaking sad. But isn't that how it happens all the time? These disgusting freaks never end up actually getting in trouble. They just get bounced from school district to school district. Trust me, I know. Now, this is Call of Duty creator Vince Zampella. He died in a car crash at age 55. Now, there's a video that was going around. Some people said it was fake, but there's a lot of news people also using it as part of the story. So I'm going to show you the video that's being shared on Yahoo News and several other different platforms. This is apparently the Ferrari being driven by Vince coming out of the tunnel and hitting a barrier, and you're going to see a very dramatic car crash, and it's supposed to be the real thing. So if this is really, really for real, this is wild to just come straight out of a tunnel and just be done like that. The second you see sunlight, it's just basically over. So trigger warning now, because this is supposed to be the real thing.
Puta madre, un hey. Oh man. Man. Oh no. Cuidado con el tanque. Sácalo, güey. Vamos a jalarlo, güey. Vamos a jalarlo. Vamos a jalarlo. Rápido, 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 rápido. Oh,
one passenger was pulled from near the wreckage and dragged to safety. It apparently was a 2026 Ferrari 296 GTS that, as we saw, slammed into a barrier after it came out of a tunnel on a winding road overlooking Los Angeles on December 21st. 4 days ago. Again, today is Christmas that I am recording this. It is not known what caused the crash. He was driving the car and was trapped in the vehicle when it caught fire. He died at the scene. A passenger in the car was ejected in the crash and then later died at the hospital, as reported by KNBC. A single car crash was reported at about 12:45 p.m. on the scenic road north of Los Angeles in San Gabriel Mountain. The southbound Ferrari veered off the road just after exiting a tunnel, hit a concrete barrier, and a passenger was ejected. They were recording, so obviously there was something that they planned to do together, or nobody would have been on the other side recording the damn thing. We're going to go ahead and have this one be the last one for this video because there's like over a dozen more. And I don't want to make these too long. So we're going to stop it here at Adam the Woo. Now, he was a travel blogger. I've seen the face before. I've maybe watched maybe one or two of the videos, but I'm not really into that kind of content unless I'm wanting to go somewhere and I want opinions and I want to be able to see things that Google Maps and other searches aren't going to show me. Then I'll go and look for stuff like this, travel content wise. But the weird thing about this is, again, we have no true cause of death. No true cause of death. Everything is being hush-hush, and it's just very, very strange. It says Adam the Woo, whose real name was David Adam Williams, was found dead in his Celebration home on Monday. Deputies first responded to Williams' home Monday afternoon for a well-being check, but they were unable to make contact with Williams. They returned to the residence just before 3 p.m. for an unattended death. A friend had borrowed a ladder and looked in the third-story window to see a male on a bed that was not moving. So how many days was he in there? So he started off doing theme park content creation. I mean, I'm sure it's fun stuff to watch. He definitely had a lot of experiences. I'm really curious, man. I can't find anything. I'm asking for cause of death and it's not showing me anything. Again, I'm recording this on December 25th, 2025, and it still shows the medical examiner will conduct an autopsy to determine the cause of death, which remains undetermined at this time. There's people talking about how the family and friends of Adam are speculating on his death because they just don't know what happened. They're just calling it a sudden passing. So I don't know. Was it another self-deletion? What the frick actually happened here? Again, that's it. This one's already really long. And again, there's so many more names. There's so many more names. So much of this is happening. Again, I'm not the only one that's noticed. I know a lot of you guys in the comments of my previous video noticed. There's a lot of talk about this. Again, people are writing articles about this being something that is nonstop and us having a lot of questions about it. A lot of questions. Let me know what you guys are thinking about all this stuff, though, down in the comments. Like, share. See y'all.